Places have changed, faces have aged. Memories are starting to fade, one day at a time. Remember, I'm here with you. You're trying so hard just to keep up. Every day's a chance to restart. I'll still be here, trying to pull you through. Every word that's forgotten, every note left unsung. Trust in me, just hold my hand and take me with you. Bring me into a world no one else can walk through. Hold my hand, 'cause I'm still with you. Love teaches hope, that love teaches joy, enable the ones who are frozen in time. Imagine our hearts choosing to shine on a journey that's yours and mine, yours and mine. Hold my hand and take me with you. Bring me into a world no one else can walk through. Hold my hand. Hold my hand. 'Cause I'm still with you.
When I was young, you held me near. Storms would pass and I never fear. Your smile and kisses I'd hold so dear helped me to be strong. Remember places we've explored, sights and sounds above us all. Memories you don't recall are those I've not forgot. When we cannot see, doesn't mean we'll get lost. When we cannot hear, it doesn't mean we cannot talk. Those crazy years of fighting are now long gone, and I hope you'll sing to me once more. The
Hi, welcome to the Enabling Festival 2020. I'm Guan, your festival host this year. Now, due to the present pandemic situation, the Enabling Festival 2020 will be traveling into your home. Now, the festival aims to explore, challenge, and shape perceptions and understanding of dementia and caregiving through technology and the creative arts. Now, this year, we will focus on the sense of sight with the theme, Do You See What I See? We have curated many exciting programs for you this year, so please visit us at this website below to see what we have to offer. Now, please enjoy the upcoming program. Welcome to Moving Movements, a segment of the Enabling Festival where we look at movement and wellness. I have with me our special guest here today, Vincent Yong. Hi, Vincent.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Now, Vincent is no stranger to our festival because he had conducted 2 sold-out workshops at our festival just last year.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know much about the movement because I tried attending your workshops, but because they're all sold out, so no space left, huh? So today you're here to share with me and with our friends out there a little bit more about being a somatic therapist and also the somatic movement.
Yeah.
So tell me more.
So somatic movement is really the study of the brain and body, how the brain and body is connecting or not connecting.
Okay.
So basically it is a study of the nervous system. So how are we thinking, how are we responding, and how is that contributing to that loop to make movement very meaningful and purposeful for us.
I see.
So fast forward to today, a year later, we're going to bring a series of exercises to the caregiver as well as the care receiver. So today we have 2 segments that is prepared for you, audience, today.
Oh, okay. So do you need my help?
Of course, yeah. The more the merrier.
Okay.
So for those who are watching this back home, I invite you to get a bench, a chair, a stool, or something that is comfortable for you.
Okay.
Like we are seated here today.
Right.
So once you've done that, in the next 5 seconds, right, we're going to plant our feet firmly down into the floor. How is that?
Alrighty.
Now, before we do anything, it is very important to know how we are feeling. So I'm going to share 4 R's with you today. So number 1, it is to recognize. How are you feeling right now? So let's move ahead a little bit and to see if there's any tension in your bodies, right? Caregiving is a very challenging process, but it can be very meaningful as well. So if you are, however, not able to access your body, you don't feel so good, but you're not able to articulate, nor are you able to release the tension, then caregiving can take a toll on your body as well as on your heart.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So today we're just going to move and see whether or not we are tense in our neck and also the spine. We want to move forward and back, right? And just check your pelvis a little bit. Are you tense in the back of the pelvis, the front, the hips? Okay, now that you have recognized your body, we want to talk about space here. We live in a 3-dimensional space, right? We have the vertical dimension, we have the horizontal dimension, as well as the sagittal dimension. Okay, but most of the time we don't use space very well, right? How do we know? When you are sitting like this at the bench, at your computer, we know what's happening. When you're having a coffee break with your friends, you can't support yourself. We know what's happening here. So today we're going to help you to understand space within the body, inside and out. Okay, so we want to lengthen the whole spine up by sending the crown up towards the ceiling, right? Good. Beautiful. Now at the same time, you want to realign the pelvis by pushing the sits bone down into your bench, right? As the people who are around us are already changing their posture, I invite you, the viewers at home, to change yours as well. Okay? So we are sending the crown up, we are sending the sits bone down, and observe what happens. This is a simultaneous action of the spine. Now, if, however, you're coming back to your neutral, right, and you bring your pelvis into an alignment, but there's no reach in the crown, you don't feel so good at the chest area, do you?
Right.
Yeah, so we want to lengthen the entire spine out. Now those inches that you are changing is vital to how you feel overall. Now the body works as a system, it doesn't work in parts. So if one part of the body doesn't work very well, the entire system is experiencing a block. Okay, so we have the vertical dimension. Now we're going to talk about horizontal dimension. Now check that your shoulders are not caved in like this. We want to bring the right and left shoulder out to the side as much as we can. So we lengthen onto the horizontal dimension. Beautiful, looking great there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So as you are doing this, pay attention to how you are instantly feeling right now in your chest. Pay attention to your quality of breathing right now. Is it much better than before? And if you have forgotten the before, doesn't matter, just go back in and try breathing your best here.
Okay.
We are already not at our best, in our default. So what is very important here is to allow the shoulders to reach out to the side, to send the crown up towards the ceiling. And eventually we feel, how do we feel right now?
A lot better, actually.
A lot better, actually, right? So as you are able to access your vertical and horizontal space, trust that your sagittal space is immediately tapped into because you're neither caved in a concave manner, neither are you, expending a lot of energy just to push your chest out. We're not talking about excessive use of the muscular activity here. We are trying to find a balance, a natural state. So once we've understood the vertical, the horizontal, and the sagittal, we are ready to work.
So I'm ready.
Yes, now
Okay.
we are ready. Because if we are functioning from this space and we try to exercise, we're not giving ourselves the best.
Okay.
And when you don't give yourself the best, the question is, can you give those people who are receiving your care the best?
Right.
Okay? So it's very important to understand somatic work as a work that happens from inside out rather than outside in. You cannot copy a work, neither can you copy a body. Well, you can try visually, right? This whole theme here is all about the visual sighting. So sight is very important. However, sight is not just seen from our eyes. Sight can also be seen from inside out. How are you viewing your inner world? Now, your inner world is very important. If you're not able to access your inner world, that means you are neglecting it. And then you have to put on an external self that is just, a facade.
Which is very tiring.
Which is very tiring.
Right.
And how tired are you, everyone?
Right.
Some questions for you to think about as you are approaching somatic work. So it's not just a physical work. It is also neurological, it is also mental, and it's also emotional. What about social? If I change my relationship, right, with my body right here, you see how that feels. But the moment I sit, with this social distancing, we are creating this gulf in between. Now you can also create the gulf between the inner you and the outer you by neglecting who you really are. So today we are talking about becoming who you are truly meant to be by understanding this somatic work. Wow. Okay. So, are you guys ready? So now that you have felt a lot of things in your body, we're going to put this toy down here. We're going to send the crown up as usual. And then from where we are, we're going to take a deep breath in, send the hands out to the side, reaching up towards the ceiling. Shoulders are coming down away from the ears and reaching far out. We just did it one time and it already felt very good. Let's do that the second time. Reaching all the way up. Good job. And reaching down. Beautiful. Happy faces, happy bodies. Right? One more time. This time, as we are reaching the fingertips up, squeeze the shoulders right up to the ears. 5 seconds. 4, 3, squeeze harder. 2, and 1. And release them. Let the hands slowly come down. 2, 3, and 4. Now pay attention to your body. A lot of times your body is speaking to you, but we don't listen to it. Do you feel this great sense of relief, right? This great sense of release is your nervous system calming down. Now, when your nervous system is not calmed down and you're trying to overwork yourself, you get very tense bodies. And when you get very tense bodies, and in this current society as well as this climate of COVID, right? What are we doing? We're trying to push. We forget to relax. We forget to breathe. Now, inhalation is not about just pushing and getting your lungs bigger, but it's also understanding, and through the exhalation, we find ourselves again. We find who we are as a whole. right? So this is very important to understand on a biological level before we are even talking about a social level. Shall we do that again this time? Now, one more time, breathing in, send the hands all the way up. Good. And as we breathe out, relax the shoulders. Beautiful. And pay attention to that body of yours. Now send the right ear up towards the ceiling. You know, like when I was a little boy in primary school, right, my teacher liked to pull my ear. Oh boy, you're not paying attention. Okay, so this whole process here is to allow the length in our neck. Okay, this is different from the usual exercise that you learn usually by having someone pull your neck all the way to the other side. When this happens, what is happening on the opposite side of our cervical neck is that it gets compressed.
Right.
And we have intervertebral disc. We don't want to compress anything. We want to give space. Today we're talking about space. And visually we see space around us, right? Plenty of space. But most of the time we don't enter the space and we complain.
Right.
Right? We don't want to do that.
Okay.
You can change that. You can change your experience on the get-go. So now, instead of pulling, we are inviting the head to lengthen, send the ear up, and then you don't compress on the side of the neck. And that makes you feel good, doesn't it? Beautiful. Now we want to send the other side of the ear all the way up. Now I'm moving my left, and if you are viewing from in front of the screen, it's your right. I'm your mirror image right now. Okay? As the shoulders are coming down away from the ears, continue to send the chest wide open, shoulders out to the side. Happy face, happy bodies. You don't have to push too hard, you just have to be an honest and true you. Beautiful. Now as we do that, we come back to the center, reaching the crown up towards the ceiling. This time we get our occiput. Occiput is the back of our head here, right? We want to send it up to the ceiling. So instead of bringing the chin down, we are rethinking the way we are acting upon our bodies. And this gives us space in the front of our throat so we don't feel compressed. See, if I do this, it's a very different feeling. But if I do that, I have so much more space in my vocal cords. And for those singers out there, right, sometimes you want to sing to the care receiver, and it's very important they sing back to you. So teach them this exercise as well. As we reach the occiput all the way up, imagine you are like a little puppet, right, with a string attached all the way up to the ceiling, and the puppeteer is moving you, and you are relaxing the entire parts of your body. And breathe. Beautiful. 2 more seconds, and 1. Now send the chin all the way up. The concept is the same. We are reaching and finding space so that we don't compress our cervical neck. Okay, beautiful. 4 and 3. Allow the shoulders to melt away. Send the nose up towards the ceiling as if there is a pencil there and you want to draw something on that ceiling. Bravo. Now send the crown all the way up to the ceiling. And pay attention to your neck right now. Do you suddenly feel taller? Do you feel like you have more space? You are lifted from the pelvis all the way up towards your throat and crown. Now this is something that you cannot buy, whether in a convenience shop or a luxury store, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to work for this to understand, and that is why it is important to go into the process and the journey of somatic work. Right? You can't copy it because I can never know what Guan is feeling right now, but he can. And you can too, feeling your own body from inside out. Okay, now that we have talked about the neck, we want to pay attention to the shoulder. Sometimes you feel a little tension there. So when you are reaching the right ear up, what you're going to do here, you're going to connect the entire systems together. You're going to bring the right shoulder up. 2, 3, 4, as you release down, come back again and allow the head to gradually come back. We're going to do that again a few more times for you to find the release. Now, it is not forcing a stretch. It is inviting and encouraging a stretch that actually calms the nervous system down. Because what happens when somebody pushes you? You tend to push back. And this is a nervous response, right? The nervous system is, I gotta fight, I gotta fight, I gotta fight. But you don't have to. What you need to do, however, is listen. When you are feeling the tension, do not worry. Send the shoulders all the way up to the shoulder. Release the tension a little bit. And if you find that it's still not released, you bring the head to the shoulder. And then you release both ends at the same time. I don't have to say anything. Your body is saying a lot of things to you right now. On the right side versus the left side, do you feel that the sensation is different?
Of course.
Right? When the sensation is changing, trust me that a lot of things are shifting on the inside. It is not just your emotions. It is the physiological response that is who you are tied into your psychology. Right? So this is very, very important for you to understand. It is not just follow me and exercise, I can do 10,000 times, you do 10,000 times, and then we break a sweat and we go on. There is a space for that when you want to build on your aerobic activity.
Oh, the
right?
cardio.
Yes, the cardio, right? When you want to get the heart pumping. But here in somatic work, because it is therapeutic, we got to slow things down to know how things are functioning in our mind and in our bodies, right? So that now we felt that we want to balance out on the other side.
Right.
So we want to reach the left ear all the way up, mind, and your right ears. And then if you're feeling the tension, don't try to pull and yank. No, we don't want to do that. We want to send the shoulder quietly, silently up towards the ear. Allow the face to relax so you can come down from inside. And of course, if the tension is still too great, bring the ear towards the shoulder so you feel a little compression right there. Gentle squeeze, 2, 3, 4. Now activate, send them both apart. At the same time, that out breath that you take after the exercise is for you to calm down. If we don't allow that, we are still forcing attention right there. And that we are not allowing our nervous system to come into a rest. And that's not good. So allow yourself. If that doesn't work, there's one exercise for you. Everyone, just shake your hands up.
Okay.
Yes.
That should do it.
Yes, that should do it, right? We want to shake it as if like there's water in your hands. We want to shake it, and now that affects your shoulder.
Okay.
Good. And now from your shoulder, you want to try this with the sound. Try that and go. Good. As we are feeling this release,
Right.
do you feel that the whole body there's this tingling sensation all over? And this is helping you feel more relaxed and calm. So for those who are presenting, right, this is also a good exercise to go on stage before you are doing anything, a presentation. Well, sometimes some people are afraid of public speaking, right? We want to be able to calm ourselves down and present ourselves as authentically, as truthfully to the audience that's listening. Okay, now that we have felt that, it's better now. So let's pay attention to our chest. Send the fingertips to the sternum, right? So there are spaces between your ribs, okay? And those muscles that are helping you breathe, those are intercostal muscles. Today we want to think of our fingers as rakes, right? In winter time or autumn, or in Singapore we don't have the winter and autumn, right? But you think of a rake that is scraping out to the side, in between the ribs, and observe what happens to your chest right now. It's expanded.
Right.
Now, when was the last time you allowed your chest to expand? Probably never, right? For a long time. And I can see when I say this, people naturally opens up, right? It's a response in the brain. We all want to be bigger. So today, give yourself that chance. Give yourself that permission to grow, to become who you truly are, okay? As we do that, let's repeat that a few times for the brain to remember that our chest can be as broad and wide as we can be. And we want to use as little strength as possible, just that sensation across the skin and to our shoulders. And then from here, maintain that width in front of the chest. Allow the shoulders and hands to melt away. Wow, do you see that? You are very different right now, as opposed to maybe moments ago. This might be who you are. So we don't want to function in a default state where it is not optimal. We want to change, and become bigger and better. Okay.
Is there a difference between just doing a stretch as opposed to what you just taught us about, raking across the chest?
Yes. Okay. Good. Very good question here. When we are stretching across, okay, the same idea, the chest gets expanded, lengthened. However, when you are doing this work, you are paying focus, right, to the whole sternum, the whole torso. So this is more of a trunk work rather than the arm work.
Okay.
Now, when the brain has to process a lot of information across the body, guess what becomes the focus? Wherever you choose, right? And I may be doing the same exercise, right, which differentiates between somatic work and non-somatic work.
Right.
Which means to say, I can say, hey, Guan, just put your hands out, and he's going to do that.
Right.
And 1,000 of you, a million
Just
of you who
follow.
is watching, will just do it.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
However, when I say pay attention to that one thing that you are doing, immediately your brain tune into that part.
That's true.
And what gives you that feedback is where you are paying attention to.
Okay.
That kind of change, and if practiced very gradually and over a period of time, it becomes a new habit that becomes instinctual, that you're always functioning at an optimum. Now, do we want to function at an optimum or not so optimum state?
Okay.
I think the answers are all there inside of you, right?
Right.
So as we are doing that, so we're going to bring this whole hands there. Now this time, we're going to do what Guan is talking about. We're going to pay attention to the length of our arms. So from the chest, we're going to reach the hands all the way out. Good. After the chest is widened, right? Has widened, and we're going to reach all the way out to the side. 2, 3. Now your intention here is you want to touch the ends of the room as you are relaxing your shoulders. 4, 5, 6. Ground your feet down into the floor. The shoulders are down away from the ears. Sits bones are grounding into your bench, and the crown is reaching up to the ceiling. Slowly melt and let your hands come back to where they are. Now pay attention to the sensation in your fingertips right now. What do you feel, Guan?
There is a little bit of tingling.
There's a little bit of tingling sensation, and you know what that means?
Seriously,
Yes. So seriously, right? Today is all about serious and authentic work here. So this means the nervous system is engaged. When we are stretching, okay, we're not just stretching the muscles. There are 4 kinds of tissues that we are stretching. One of them is the nervous tissue besides the muscular tissues. There's also the connective tissues as well as the epithelial tissues. Now, it's a lot of science here, but today you don't have to remember that because you're not going for a teacher's training. You are coming here to experience yourself, to release and relax. How is that? So, the 4 R's that I wanted to share with you was first you recognize, and now you are able to release those tension. Then we want to talk about rewiring.
Which we have not done yet, right?
Which we are doing slowly, it's overlapping.
Ah.
Because now that you have felt, now the next question would be, would you want to still function in your optimal state that you knew before, or would you want to function at your new optimum state? If you know, that means your brain has gone through a rewiring process.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because you know it now.
Right,
I don't need
right.
to tell you.
Right.
If I have to tell you, which means it's not intrinsic.
Okay.
And then when it's not intrinsic, it cannot be instinctual. Does it make sense?
Right.
Okay, so as we are doing that, we want to pay attention to the connection of the brain and body as we are rewiring. So now let's go a little bit lower with the pelvis. So we bring the pelvis to the front. Sometimes we lean towards the computer to type. Right? Want to be really up there, really on form. Okay, and after a while, we get so much tension in the back and in the hips. So we don't want that. So now we want to sit right back to our center. Really feel the sits bone at the highest, send the crown all the way up, and breathe. If your breath is impeded, guess what happens? You're not functioning very well because you're holding, and stress builds up upon time, right? As the second ticks, as the minute ticks by, what happens is you feel more stressed, and to a point where you can't take it anymore, you gotta do something, okay? And that means you are not regulating yourself in the process. The whole objective in somatic work is to pay attention to your body, so you're constantly exerting, but also recuperating. It's a process, not exert until you can't anymore, then you explode. We don't want that. We want to exert, release. So there is this rhythm. When we have rhythm, guess what happens? It becomes a dance. So work doesn't seem to be like work anymore. It becomes a very enjoyable process. Okay, so now we can also slouch. So everybody just try slouching and see how you feel when you slouch. Do you feel that you are sitting on the back part of your sits bone and there's a lot of stress in your lower back?
The weight is on
Exactly, right? And you feel the tailbone pushing down into the bench as well.
Right.
Now if you're sitting on hardwood here, it's a terrible feeling. So how do we change that? We change that by again realigning. Sending the crown up, pushing the sits bone down. Releasing the breath. Because if you don't release the breath, you're like, ugh. And that's why a lot of exercise is tough for a lot of people, because it is hard to do. And our brain hates it when things are hard, right?
That's true.
Yeah, we reject them. So how not to reject? We have to have incremental changes in our body to make it good for ourselves, to integrate new information. So it's not just intellectual, it is somatic.
Right.
And that is the beauty of it. So you're working your brain and the body at the same time. But if I give you a whole stack of notes and say, study this, you are just intellectually smart, but your body might not experience what we have just experienced. So what is the difference? When you work your body, immediately your brain has that information, and it's practical. Right? You don't need a bunch of notes to tell you, send your right ear up, send your left ear up, send your occiput up. You don't need that. You only need to be in that space and work with me. Okay? And now that the video is there, you can work with yourself at any point of the day, a few times a day, right? And share this video with those you love so that we get the most out of it. Okay, now that we have this, one more exercise. We're going to send the arm up towards the ceiling. Now as you do that, experience that my right side of the intercostal muscles is being opened up, lengthened up towards the ceiling. Now for viewers at home, your left arm is reaching up. And experience how your same side of the sits bone is grounding down into the bench that you are sitting on and reaching the fingers all the way up. Take a deep breath in, 2, 3, and now as you relax the shoulders, relax the upper arm, relax the elbow, relax the wrist and the hands. Do you observe the difference in your body? What is happening right now between the right side and the left side? I think it's very clear, right? When you are experiencing, you don't need any words. It's kind of like love and friendship. You can't really put a word to it, right? Kindness. What is being kind? Now, but all this sensation is the same thing because there's so much that is embodied into your body. We all bring our histories, right? Our experience from way before right up to this moment. The moment you start to experience this sense of, wow, sound, body movement, right? And things that you can see from inside out. And this is where you get very connected with who you really are deep inside. So now that we have done one side on the other, and just want to feel the arm on the right and left.
Okay.
Do you feel that's the difference in terms of density?
Lighter.
Lighter,
Right.
okay?
Not so tense.
Not so tense, exactly. So we want to balance that out on the other side of the hand. So we want to reach out. We're going to do alternately, right? Right, left, right, left. As you continue to reach up, continue to focus, right, on the grounding of your sits bone. So that everything in between, you just want to breathe and relax and be free. Beautiful. And while you're doing that, don't strain, don't frown, right? This is all adding tension. You want to release. Happy face, happy bodies. And even if you're neutral, if you say, my neutral state of my face is like this, and it's fine too, okay? Yeah? You're not going to be judged because it's just you and you alone today, right? We want to give the best to ourselves. And if you want to give love, do it lovingly. And by this time, maybe some of you are feeling a little bit of a tingling sensation in the hands. Yeah, you start to feel the numbness. Reach all the way up. Allow the shoulders to melt away from the ears. Allow the upper arm to slowly come down, followed by the elbow, the forearm, the wrist, the hands. And give this space to yourself. For every in-breath and out-breath, there is a space in between. That silence is where we find the peace. And for every out-breath to the in-breath, there is also that space. Right? It is in that space that we find greater relationship to what is and what isn't. If our relationship is getting closer, then we are bridging this gap that is between us. If we are maintaining a distance, we are relating in order so that the camera can take the best picture and the best video. And this is how it is in a book as well. Between the words, we need space. If all the words are joined together, we are reading gibberish. We can't really comprehend very well. Same thing between the first line and the second line, the first paragraph to the next paragraph. Right? So space is very important. Today we talk about space, but looking at space, not just externally, but also internally. Are you compressed? Are you depressed? And can you decompress to change those depressive attitude that you might have? Because you want somebody to get better. But because of that want and the expectation, it gets you on the edge and you don't feel so good. But we can change that. So by paying attention to our physiological responses inside out. Okay? Now that we felt that, everyone just shake it out. Again, we want to shake it out, relax the shoulders, use the sound to help you, engage your body, and gentle rub. Good. And this is how we restore who we are, giving ourselves energy again. Okay, so now shake all the way up. Good, and out. Good, and front. Good, and a little palm, right, left, right, left. Good, to get the blood flowing. Now this is tapping into our arterial, right, flow, okay? As well as the venous flow, want to get the blood pumping, okay? And front, good, yes? And now shake it out again, neutralize, and pay attention to the state right now. Do you feel like you're ready for some rock and roll? Okay? So this is exactly what we want to do. With this 4R, you can easily help yourself to first recognize the tension in your body, right? And second, you learn how to release those tension. And third, you learn to rewire bad habits, right? Maybe you are sitting like this, and all of a sudden, you go like, oh, Vincent said that before. Bing! You've changed. And I didn't change you. You changed yourself. Now that's quicker, far quicker than me trying to, let's book an appointment with me. No, it's too late. Find it on your own. You can change it right there this instant. And number 4, understanding what kind of exercises we can do to help restore our vitality, to restore this positive mindset, as well as giving us the energy we need. Now, this is a short segment here that I'm sharing with you. There's a tons more that I could share with you. So do not forget to connect with me, right? You can find me on Instagram, on Danspire, DANSPIREVY. Okay, now the second segment here is for giving care. How do we give care? By playing games, right? By understanding these body games that we can engage to help somebody get their brain more connected. So do you know, like dementia, sometimes people talk about it, but they don't really understand what it means, right? And but we can just use very simple example. Right? Do you remember sometimes when you go to some place and then you see somebody on the street and you find them so familiar, but you just can't recall where you met them? What happened? Why is it that you see this face that you kind of recognize, but you don't remember those connections? Why? And what about, you want to go into the room, you want to take a pair of scissors, but for whatever reason when you arrived,
You don't know what you are there for.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You don't know why you are in that room. I'm here to take something, but I can't remember what I'm taking. And what about when you see, like this person is in front of you, right? And yeah, I think it's my son, but I don't know which one. Some of you have experienced that before, because I was on the receiving end of it. So I had to ask my grandma, who am I? Okay. And he says, I know you. And he was playing a game with me in return, right? It's because most of the time we have forgotten the connections. Right. Our neural connections are like pathways, right? So if you think of this as a neuron, there's a neuron, there's a neuron, the more complex we are in our connections, the better the brain functions. If we have simple connection, we think simply. If we have complex connections, we are able to function in a very complicated and comprehensive manner. If we're not able to do that, then we just think like this, right? And guess what happens? There is something called synaptic pruning, which means between these two, if you don't use it anymore, you lose it.
Oh, okay.
When we lose it, guess what? Because you're saying, I don't need it anymore, hence you don't use it, you lose it. Right. We want to build denser connections. So instead of going to this point via only the vertical, we can also create another line, another line, another line, another line, by learning more ways to get to the point. Okay. And this is the work of neuroplasticity. How plastic can our brain be? So we're going to learn movement to help us engage that. All right. And today we have this model. After the 3 dimension, we have the 3 planes. Okay, let's look at this. The blue one is the vertical plane. So one, let's just do it together. We have the right hand all the way up to the corner that you see here. We reach all the way to the high and right. Beautiful. Now we want to cycle down to the low and right, as low as we can with our bodies. And then we feel the pelvis riding up a little bit. Beautiful. Okay, now let's cycle to the other side with the same arm to the left bottom part. Okay, good. And then we ride it up again to the left high. Good, with the arm covering the face. I'm hiding? I'm not hiding, okay? So with this concept, do you feel that we have already engaged our body very differently? With what we learned just now, let's try that again. Sending the crown up, grounding the sits bone down, we reach high. As opposed to sometimes when we are playing games or sports, we tend to injure ourselves because we are not reaching in the right manner. So then we get our spine into this state of abrasion. And that's where we have some injuries in the intervertebral disc. But if we stretch it out, wow, look at that. You look good and you feel good.
Okay.
But if you're like this, and you try to use a lot of force, you know those people who are trying to move the rice packs and then they yank it, or you're trying to move your furniture, you don't ground yourself, you're just yanking with your arms, and then you go, ah, right? So this is the injury that you can cause, yeah, to yourself unconsciously. You only know when the pain is there. Pain is a great reminder. Okay, so that now we know there is a vertical plane. We're going to talk about how does the brain work, okay, to remember. Okay, so then we have the green plane here. This is called the horizontal plane, otherwise known as the table plane. So now we go to the corner, far right and front. Beautiful. As you reach, you want to feel that the left sits bone is riding up. Beautiful. And come back in again, then reach it all the way to the back. Beautiful. And say hello to the leaves. Good job. And then coming back in, we go to the other side. Bravo. So we know where we are in space. Okay. And then we go to the front left. Okay. Beautiful. Now that we have this, we kind of know where is our horizontal ground. Okay. This table plane. Horizontal plane. So we know vertical, we know horizontal. Now let's go for the sagittal. Okay. We go front high. Good. And then front low. Good. We want to reach, so you want to see that your whole body is going forward as if you are picking up a bunch of keys. And then you are going to the back. Good. Okay. Very nice. And then you're going up, riding to the back high. Beautiful. Now try to get the whole arm as high up as you can and far back as you can. Beautiful. And coming back to center. Now that you know your space, we're going to play a game. Now we're going to give the brain something to remember. It's like a choreography, but simpler, okay? We have high right, which is this point, 1, okay? It accesses into the back low. So high right, back low. So here and back, 2. Beautiful. So let's try it again. And 1 and 2. And then we are going to reach to the left front, okay? And from here, reaching to the left front. Good, and come back to neutral. Let's try this again from the top. And go. And 1, and 2, and 3. Again. And 1, and 2, and 3. Now engage your whole body instead of just reaching the arm. Okay, we want to get the whole body moving. It's like a dance, and the whole body is fluid. And what happens here is when the brain, okay, is plastic, the body will be too. The brain is controlling the body. If the brain is not, we get very stiff moving, isn't it? And we don't want that. So let's try this again. Here we go. And high right, and back low, relax the spine, and reach. Good. So there's 3 points right now. So when you are working, try not to go too fast, depending on the speed, right? Sometimes you might just want to do one action a few more times. High right, and come back. High right, and come back. So if now I'm giving care, so would you be my model here?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about high right. So you're going to reach high right. So sometimes when the one that is receiving care, right, you see that she's not responding or he's not responding too fast, don't stress them and go high right, back right, you know, it's too much for the brain. What you want to do here is slow down and you play a game. Touch my hand, good. And maybe give a high five in that direction. Yes, a little bit more and activate them so they get motivated to move, right? They get activated in their brain and in their body, okay? And after that, you want to check back low. So what I'll do here is I'll go back low. So I say, hey, go on, reach. Yes, beautiful. As you do that, observe how much they are rotating and also observe whether they are grounding their feet. So when they ground their feet, they have more stability, okay? So they don't fall. And then they can reach with confidence, okay? This is understanding how it works. And then we go to the front, left front, good, touch my hand, play the game. So this becomes very interactive. And sometimes you might even talk about stories. And this might jolt certain incidents that happened when they were young in their childhood, and then you might hear interesting stories. And then maybe forgetting becomes a history.
task.
Yes.
But Vincent, a quick question: Would you also do this with music?
Of course,
You can,
if you add in the music can be can be in this picture on two different formats. One is you play it to the rhythm,
Right.
and a 1 and 2 and 3, right? And a 1 and 2. Or you could just let it be a soundscape,
Oh, okay.
which means it's just running at the back. Something very interestingly,
Calming, maybe.
calming. Yeah, you want to play some, I don't know, Secret Garden, enjoying the process of, oh, I like this movement, and it gets more personal.
Okay.
But if you want to get the aerobic activity up, that's where you can add in N1, N2, N3, and that's where the rhythm comes in. You can do your beatbox as well. And this whole process can change the moment you change the way you relate. Okay? So now that we have done the right side, let's just balance out and do the left. Okay? So today we go high left. Good, high left. So high left would be around here, so it's two-dimensional. Yay! As the body is reaching to the front, right? Good. And then we go back low. There you go. So ensure that the pelvis, the feet is grounded, the body is rotated to the maximum. Good. And then you reach to the front right. Beautiful. As you reach front right, allow the body to breathe a little bit more. Take a deep breath in and reach further. Do you see that there's 2 more inches of length here? So we always tap into the maximum capacity. When the brain reaches new space, bing, something changes from within, right? So we want to always grow. Let's do that one more time again. And high left, good. And back low, and to the front. And that's only 3 points. Now we want to add right side and left side together.
Okay.
Are you ready? So we're gonna go, and a 1, and 2, and 3, again, and a 1, 2, and 3, again, and a 1, 2, 1 is really fast here. You see the brain is really active here. Back and front. Good job. Other side. And a 1, and 2, and 3. Good. Do we look like a pair now? And 2, and 3. Again. And a 1, and 2. We can start like a dance band here, okay? Like a team, like a tour already. 2, and 3. Good. Come back to center. Shake it out. Observe what has happened. If you are following this exercise, what has happened to your waist? Observe what has happened to your body. Do you feel like you are charged up? Do you feel like you are activated? You're ready to do more work? Because you are expanding energy in the right way, you get more energy. And most people have this idea, if they are expanded, they become tired. Actually, if you use energy well, it keeps repeating itself. And that's where youth comes from. And we'll leave that as a topic for the next time. Okay, so just a quick recap.
All right.
Okay, for whatever that we have done. So we talk about space. This is really a Laban work. Laban movement analysis work is one of the lexicon to understand how do we use body, effort, shape, and space. Today we talk about space, and because of the theme, right, of this festival, we really want to talk about how do you view space from inside out. So as you are reaching, what's happening here? How do you feel in this position? What does it make you think of? Make it personal. And then what about this? What if you think as you are driving, maybe some of your care receivers were drivers before, and then they drop a bunch of keys at the back, or they have kids at the back, they want to say hi, they're reaching their hands to the back. Those moments are those defining moments that is matching those memories. It's like jigsaw puzzle. The right side and the left side sometimes has to be connected by that piece in the center. And that very important piece in the center is what makes the difference. So as we are moving, allow yourself to go through every single point without trying to just go touch, 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 but actually understand how it connects. Okay? So how it connects forms C, connect. Okay? And then awareness of how you are connecting, that is A. And of course, then you want to reconnect.
Right.
Because reconnect means you know how you are connecting before. That's the awareness part, right? The reconnection is like the rewiring, right? And then E is to embody it. So C-A-R-E becomes care. Okay. So today we have shared care with you, and hopefully you can share this care to the people you love, as well as we're not just caring for the people, we are also caring for ourselves. Only when we've learned to care for ourselves can we then give the best care to other people, right? It's like relationships. So with the 4R, let's repeat that again. The first R, do you remember? It's recognize. Recognize that you're not feeling well. Okay, then learn to release those tension, followed by?
Reconnect. No, rewire.
Yes, rewire. You got that. Okay. Bing! Okay, there's a lucky draw prize coming up. And then the final R is to restore, so that you are energized and charged up again. Okay, so we have come to the end of this whole video. I hope you have experienced something useful for yourself, right? What about you, Guan?
I actually have a question for you. As a caregiver, how ready should I be with what you've just taught us before I can actually move on to doing it, trying it out on the person I'm giving the care to the receiver, in other words. Because, if you're very new to it, you're not familiar with some of the, the action. So how ready do you think we should be before we should actually try on the person we're giving care to?
That is really a good question. So ladies and gentlemen, you want to remember that any work that you're going into, because of the speed of somatic work, is not fast. It's really slowing it down. You can actually learn together. So it becomes an exploratory as well as an experimenting process. So if you are not sure, today this whole sequence is actually 12-step sequence, and I'm only sharing 3 with you. So can you imagine, we can always learn to build that up. So this is very primary. In fact, it's kindergarten, right? How then do we get this whole process of play into the whole process of therapy? We have forgotten to play. We've always need to get it right, right? And then we are stressed up, But it's important to understand, are we more interested in getting it safe and calm and feeling well rather than it's right or wrong, okay? So this process changes the way we approach ourselves as well as those who are receiving our care. So that's actually a very good question. Thank you for asking.
So you said the 12 stages we've shared with us, only 3.
Yes.
So if any of our friends out there, you have your questions or you want to know the other 9 steps or 9 stages, you have further questions, because this is really a lot of science involved in it.
Yes, the theory of space.
If you want to chat further with Vincent, what you really need to do is just to go to our Facebook page or our Instagram or our website to see what we have lined up for you, and you can direct our questions, your questions, to Vincent. All right, so I'm sure Vincent, you'll be more than willing to share with all our friends.
Just waiting for you sending the text, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay. And we want it to be really interactive, so do drop us a message on any of the social media to let us know how the past half an hour has helped you in any way in your caregiving. All right, so with that, we want to say a big thank you. Thank you so much, Vincent, for being here.
Take good care, everyone.
Yes, take good care. God bless. Thank you for watching our program. We hope you can help us to fill in a simple survey using the QR code provided at the end of the program. Now, this will help us to improve as well as to fulfill our funding requirements from our various funders. Please help. Now, if you have any questions or if you wish to find out more about the Enabling Festival 2020, please visit our Facebook page, Instagram, and website to see what we have lined up for you. Drop us a message on any of the social media platforms. You can also write to enablingfestival@gmail.com, and our colleagues will reply to you as soon as they can. Take care and stay safe.
Hi, my name is Vincent Yong, and I'm participating in the Enabling Festival this year. Now, as the somatic movement therapist, I'm in this Moving Moments program. Now, I hope you can support us by pledging $1 to the Enabling Festival 2020 via the link below. Now, this $1 will enable the festival to further its course and implement initiative for collective impact now which has societal benefits for the dementia community and caregivers. So this is a very real thing here, dementia, and it can happen to you and me. So I sincerely hope that you can support us and walk with us in this journey. Come and participate in the various programs. We hope to see you online at the Enabling Festival 2020. And the pledge for this $1 is in exchange for a treasure trove of shared knowledge.
When we cannot see, doesn't mean